Hi, I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. Ryan, how you doing on this magical Saturday morning?
Better.
Yeah.
It's not the morning, it's 1:14. But if we were recording this the first time, it would have been about 11:30 a.m.
Yeah, this comedy of errors of a podcast that we're calling it today. Pretty much everything that could go wrong. Really, there's not that much that could go wrong. I guess just your mic not working.
A mic crapped out.
That's really about it.
Go back, and he came back with vegan food. And
yeah, coffee. I guess you could get punched in the throat, and then you wouldn't be able to talk. So there's like two things that you couldn't that could go wrong. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about something pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
like we always do.
The last 28 episodes, it's never been cool, but this is the one.
It's never been cool except for the ones we never talk about SEO. We talk about how many Waffle House locations are around the United States. So we're going to talk about a few different topics, but they're all going to center around one thing and one topic. And the core focus is how you're going to get massive amounts of content on a website when you don't really want to spend a massive amount of money.
So how to get content cheap or free, and a lot of it in 2019.
So we actually plan on at least 4 things we're going to talk about, 4 or 5. You want to start with your favorite? Because it's my least favorite. We'll just get out of the way.
You're going to have to tell me what your least favorite is.
Well, I don't
know what it is.
I don't think that it's a bad idea by any means. It's actually a fantastic
idea. Oh, writing it yourself?
No, I'm not talking about that one right now. But, pardon me, natural language generation is... my least favorite because I don't have a lot to talk about, but you might, and I did a little bit of research, so we should start there.
I don't want to give that in this episode because you're going to have to pay for that. And this is the whole thing is getting content for free, this one, right?
No, we should talk about it because we're talking about massive amounts of content, and then even though it costs money, probably the cost per article or piece of content you'll get from doing it will be significantly cheap.
Yeah, so this is like if you have a very large enterprise site, maybe a very, very large e-commerce site where you have to write a lot of descriptions about things. You have to, tens of thousands of pages that you need content for.
2, 3.
So if you're in that situation where you have thousands of pages, you're probably working with a budget. If you're in like a really, really large company that does e-commerce. And so how do you write content that's unique about those products for all those pages? Maybe you have a city page for every city in America. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the type of business model that you have. A good example to think of is if you're like a quick oil change company, right? Like they have multiple locations throughout a city and every city across America. So how do you write content for each individual landing page? You can't really, you could pay people to do that, but it would be cost prohibitive to do that and be time consuming. So the way that you'd want to do that is through a process called natural language generation. So you're using some AI and some software and some data feeds to create content that's going to go out on all these different pages all at one time. And basically, you're going to... It kind of works like a way more sophisticated content spinner. And if you don't know what a content spinner is, we're going to explain that later on in this episode as well. But think about, like Zillow. Zillow has descriptive content about every neighborhood in America. And the way that they wrote that is they found some sort of data source, whether it was Wikipedia, there's a million types of things, and they plugged it in this AI, and then it wrote content for those pages, but it wrote it in a way that it was very easy to read. So it doesn't look like it was written by a computer. It looked like a human being wrote it, and it was useful when you actually read the content.
Yeah, and one way that I can personally verify that these AI or the NLG it does such a great job is when we play fantasy football, like Yahoo Fantasy Football, and it gives you recaps about how much you got smothered by your opponent or how much you kicked their ass in the last week. You get these reports, and then it kind of grabs the data, the most points, and then your players that performed well, and then the margins of victory, and then other numbers, and it pulls it all together, and it kind of and it bridges it with content. And when I'm reading it, I know that someone didn't sit there writing it, but it's just there's no way that it seems spun by any means.
Yeah, so it's taking the point spread and algorithmically creating content based on that point spread. Okay, it was this wide of a spread, so you're gonna get this negative of a write up, and then throw in these words, synonyms for these words.
But the level of uniqueness, it just kind of comes together. I don't know if they templatize or they use the same exact sentences to bridge every data point every time. I feel like they probably use a bunch of canned ones, but it's all unique at the end of the day.
We're going to be very quickly approaching a point where the vast amount of content on your website will not need to be written by a human being.
I kind of feel that's going that direction.
You can really get away with it right now.
Yeah, I think as long as there's a lot of data out there and there's a lot of pre-existing information on it, AI is going to be able to pull it all together and then make it make sense.
And if it's evergreen type of content, then it's really easy to do.
Another example, so I was reading about Wordsmith. That was one I told you about. I was reading about analogies. The Wikipedia wasn't cutting it for me, so I had to go other places. So the Wordsmith, it was basically like, there was one example of enterprise corporation that was like, we have so much data, but then a lot of people in different departments don't really know what to do with those numbers. Like if they just saw like graphs and spreadsheets and all this, they'd just be like, cool, it's a bunch of numbers. So they use the AI to pretty much take it and then elaborate it more textually. Mm-hmm. And then it's a report where people can digest it much easier than only the financial department being able to analyze it.
Yeah.
So that's like an example of how some people use it there.
But it's super valuable that way. So that's kind of where things are headed. That's not going to be a free service for anyone to take advantage of listening to this podcast. So if you're a local business, you probably don't have a need for that anyways. So we're going to cover some ways for you to get content very, very, mostly free, I would say.
Well,
very cheap.
Do you have any idea like how much some of these NLG software, AI, or services cost at all?
They're pretty costly.
They are really
tens
expensive.
Of thousands.
Are they?
The problem is like setting all the stuff up. It's very complicated.
I think the only reason this will apply to some people are listening, because imagine you do e-commerce, you potentially have tens of thousands of pages that you want to create for any particular reason. You might realize that it might cost $10,000, but you might get 10, 20, 30,000 pages. I don't know, hypothetically, and then it might be worth exploring.
It's less than $1 a page. So
just think about it that way before we move to the next part.
Yeah. So let's cover some of the top ways to get content
Cool.
for cheap or free.
Okay.
In 2019.
Number one, let's stuff it. 2019. Okay. Number one, go to your competitor's website, grab all the content, put it on your website.
No. Definitely don't do that, guys. We're not giving you that.
Worst thing that happens, cease and desist.
All right, so we're going to start at the very bottom. This is more. Let's not even number these.
I don't really want to. I don't want to prioritize them anyway.
Yeah, I want to prioritize these like you.
Yeah, you pick one. Which one?
So we'll start with the crappiest way, and that's writing it yourself. Right?
Okay, that's free.
But that's unless it costs you your time.
It's not worth anything.
Yeah, but you're going to get the content that you want, and it's probably going to cover everything because you're writing it. And then if it's not good, you only have yourself to blame.
If you
don't make it, it's your own damn fault.
If you need an editor, let's say you write it, but you're bad at editing and you want to look like a buffoon on your website, you can go on Fiverr and then just submit it to someone
$5 to edit it.
You can give it to your niece or nephew or your sister, brother.
someone that's in school that's in a language class.
So you can write stuff,
turn it in as a report, and then they can grade it and bring it back to you.
So we've talked about that a little bit in the past. I think that we have a little bit more to elaborate on this point in the form of Google Docs.
Google Docs.
So I don't know if we mentioned this last time, but we're going to start doing this ourselves. Is using the transcribing.
Yeah, if you guys don't know this is really, really cool. So if you have a mic, maybe you hate typing. Maybe you hate manually.
Maybe you never Maybe you never learned how to use your two pointer fingers.
Maybe you have to stare at the your. Google has made your life easier once again, my friend. So as long as you have a mic built in to Google Docs, everywhere is the option to do text to or speech to text. So you can just talk right into this mic and it will type out everything that you're saying into that Google Doc.
And if you speak clearly and slowly, much like I am doing right now and I normally don't while I'm podcasting, it's pretty accurate.
It's important to remember to speak clearly
and slowly.
If you want it to work. No, you actually can speak at a normal pace and it'll still do it.
Well, you can mess around. You could be like, can you type this? Can you type this? Can you type this? And then just go faster until you know what the sweet spot is.
Yeah, but just so you guys know too, it only does it through one feed, so one mic at a time. So we can't really do it with our podcast because it'll only listen to one mic.
Well, I mean, I guess we could
We
extract
actually
audio.
could do it on this right now since we're both miking it
Well,
through your computer. But
And transcription services are expensive for them to be good. We actually
and they're
just
usually
did,
wrong.
We actually just did one on Fiverr for a couple podcasts, and
Why are you saying we? I didn't do that.
Well,
you
we
did
were
that.
part of it. I paid for it.
I mean, I
which
would
was
have
a
done
waste
it.
of money. Well, let's just put it this way: your name was Paula the whole time,
Oh yeah,
and that's all you need to know about how that
That's-
service was.
It was real bad. It was really bad.
And I actually gave it to one of my virtual assistants, and she was like,
I'm
wow.
Paula Shorn.
She was like, "Wow,
Yeah, I had to-
I don't
I had to
really
really
know
go
what to
through
do
that.
with this." But yeah, transcription is great. Repurposing content, you know, from listening to us, the past year or so, or however long you've been listening, we're all about five birds with one stone, repurposing, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we didn't really want to get into like you writing yourself because we don't like to write stuff ourselves.
We're talking about what the bottom
So
is.
yeah,
the
we're
pits.
trying to give you guys some better ways to get content done. So number 2, I think, is find old websites that used to exist, put them in the Wayback Machine. If you know what the Wayback Machine is, Google it. But it's just a website that archives pages of other websites and allows you to historically look at them at different points in time that they existed.
So I want to preface this. A lot of people do this, not always for the content for their website, but they use this for link building and other things. But if it works for you, it works for you. So let's tell them this is some gold. This is like some crazy stuff. I mean, I don't know how much you want to divulge because these are things that we have figured out in a long time.
So here's what you got to do, right? You find, should we tell them how to find?
I'll say this. You can way back old directories. Let's think about like yp.com or yellowpages.com
Yeah.
back then. Go to old website. Not old websites. Just like directories that exist now that have probably existed for 10 or 15, 20 years. Way back 10 years. They're going to list a lot of websites by category that may exist now, but a lot that probably don't. You're going to check them all when they don't exist anymore. When they say
you're gonna check those links in it, and if it's broken and like it doesn't work anymore,
right,
the
it's gonna
business
say
doesn't
cannot connect to IP.
probably work.
Uh-huh.
It's probably out of business. Then you're gonna take the domain for it, and you're gonna put that in the Wayback Machine, and you're gonna see if you can find some pages for it, and then you're gonna find the content. And then here's what you want to do. Actually, you want to Google the text of that content. Just take like the first like paragraph and throw that bad boy in Google and see if it shows up anywhere at all, if it's still indexed.
Right.
And if it's not, guess what? You just got yourself some content no one's using.
Yeah, or if you want to do it like on a large scale instead of individually, doing every single page, you could do like Copyscape. For
Yeah, you could
plagiarism
do that
check.
too. Copyscape is it's free, right?
It's really loud out there.
Oh man, yeah.
There's a huge
There's a
celebration out
festival.
on Orange Avenue.
This is one of the problems of living downtown. Sometimes
It's
Cuban
like
festivals.
It's
happen.
like in my apartment right now.
Or
Anyway,
just festivals. It's not really a problem that it's Cuban. It's a festival.
no, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's just
they're
that
cool.
we have background music now. It's
Yeah.
fun. But no, it works really well. I think primarily you're trying to find a lot of blogs. People have been blogging for a long time, so you'll go to old websites that had their own blogs, and you can grab their old blogs. If their service page isn't about and home, it's going to be about
That company.
their business.
So-
So like that probably won't work that well.
But you can definitely find this delicious, wonderful content. So, let's say you found it and you want to use it a bunch of times for other reasons, like SEO reasons.
Wait, all the content that you found
Let's
on the
say
website?
like you find some content and it's really good. You don't want to use it on your blog, but you have other websites you want to post it on for link building purposes. Like maybe you got a PBN, right?
Maybe.
So, what do? Well, you can use what's called a content spinner.
Oh, you find one piece of content and you want to spin it a few
Yeah.
times is what you're saying.
Yeah, and we'll
I'm-
tell them a little
I'm
story
just-
about how
I'll-
we used it in the past.
I'm going to preface this too. We don't use any spun content whatsoever anymore, and we haven't for a long time for any project, no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you have the infrastructure and you have the time or whatever,
Don't put this on your own website. It's
you
not
can
gonna be good.
You can still spin content and edit it, but it's going to be a lot of editing.
So there's like a million websites out there that if you just Google like free content spinner, I think one is freecontentspinner.com or something like
Probably
that.
so bad.
Yeah. But what it does is you'll throw like an article in there and then you can tell it, give it some parameters like every third word use like a synonym for whatever that word is, right?
Yeah.
Every fourth word. So what you get is it doesn't read well like a human being wouldn't ever read it and be like, I really understand what's going on there. I mean, I guess you would sort of understand maybe, but it doesn't really matter to Google. Like, well, Google might be to the point where it knows it's spun now.
I mean, Google.
I don't know if it is.
I can't tell either. I mean, they're just looking at a bunch of nouns, adjectives, verbs, and they're just like,
but we
whatever.
just use it for like link building anyways. Like
People read it. If they read one adjective that's been swapped out that doesn't make sense, they're going to be like, this is crap.
Yeah.
That just takes one thing for the user experience to be terrible.
So we back in the day, we found an exploit when we were doing link building. We were younger SEOs back then.
You were just younger men.
We were just younger men, younger SEOs. But there was a CMS, so like WordPress, whatever, called .NET Nuke or DNN. It's still around, I think. There's some sites.
Oh
still
yeah,
on
but
it,
they've cleaned it up like so much. It's not even the same thing anymore.
But when you installed .NET Nuke on a website, there was like a lot of things built into it that if you didn't specifically know about or like go and shut off, it would leave exploits on your website. So people could get in and they could post content and they could put links and stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And we figured out one of them. And so, it kind of gave you access to like build your own profile on another website and put in pages and links and stuff. And this is a very, very popular link building tactic. There was like software that like just automated this whole process for you. We didn't have the money for that software, and we just like found the websites that had it ourselves and like.
What was the software exactly? What that was auto posting the content?
I forget the name of it, but it would just find all that stuff.
Well, you know what it was out over there in like honestly India and Bangladesh. Those SEOs that were working so heavily in Black Hat and exploiting the links, they knew what was up more than a lot of SEOs here.
Yeah, you could go to like, and some of these websites were pretty well-known, highly trafficked sites. Like the BBC was one of them.
Well, just like super quick side note, every single time that you have, the foreign link building package, like I'll build links for you, I guarantee it's like this kind of stuff. It's expletive, it's Black Hat, it's kind of weird stuff.
It's good to know about this because
this is where you're getting links from.
I doubt they do it now, but there's like every CMS has some level of exploit. Whether it's through plugins, whether it's just through, there always is, and that's why you have to keep that stuff up to date because jerk SEOs can get in there and exploit it.
So are we talking about link building? Or are we talking about content, my friend?
We're talking about content.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, then we found all these exploits. So we would find one old article from a website, and we would spin it hundreds of times and just post it on.
It was terrible
on these pages, and then put links in it.
They still worked. They still work
quite well, actually. But we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, but then like also the pages, I don't think they got crawled as well. If the pages were only like 150, 200 words, I don't think they'd get crawled as well. And they actually have
back then I would Google plus the profile or like the link to the page, and then I would check it, like plus it, and it would get indexed almost immediately. Oh, nice. But there's no Google Plus anymore, guys. So.
You should ask Corey. Corey found a really good link indexer again. That's been working really well.
So, okay. So now we've covered how to turn one article into like thousands.
Well, what are
link
some
building
examples?
Purposes
I mean, I used something called Word AI. It had varying levels of how unique or human-like you wanted to make it, and depending on how it was like a sliding scale, how much you want to do it. It would cost like more and more money. Yeah. Then it would have a selection that was like human boost. Like check this if you really want to boost into human boost. Like stuff like that. And so it started to get kind of like pricey once you start spinning it. But the content at the end of the day, no matter how much you said, make it unique, make it like still readable, it still is just sucks. Like this is not very good. I mean, at the end of the day, what it's doing is just selecting a lot of verbs and adjectives and swapping them out for synonyms. Yeah, that's it.
So
and then swapping inflections.
It's essentially, it's a spinner.
Sentence structure.
It's just a better spinner.
It's just better spinner.
Yeah. All right.
We'll cut it today. I'm not gonna say we'll.
We've covered all the free ways up to this point.
Actually, I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
About because man, we're just giving it away today. This is a special episode.
Yeah.
So we're talking about going way back and grabbing it from old. We're basically mentioning like this is how you got to get from like old businesses websites and like maybe you'll do it by bloggers and stuff. But one of the biggest, I guess, caches of content we ever found that was awesome, and I hope they're going to listen to this, is FindLaw had a kind of a buried link for all and listed all the blogs that they had. So remember they used
whoa.
to. So
Yeah.
remember they used to sell like. So back in the day, FineLaw, if you're all familiar with them, they're the biggest legal marketing company in the whole world, which makes them.
Are they still?
They have to be. They're massive. They have thousands and thousands of clients. So their salespeople got really crafty and were like, "How can we milk our clients for more money? Let's sell them an offsite blog." So you remember when they did that, which was like the most ridiculous thing in the world. So that they sold all these people offsite blogs with the intention of getting like some traffic there, but ultimately linking back to their website for SEO purposes, which there's a million better things to do. But anyway, they wrote these people massive amounts of articles, like, and they sold dozens, if not hundreds. They sold hundreds of these, and they put them on their website, like FineLaw // and they listed them all, and then they like cut them off, and then most people stopped paying for their blogs, and they all like got redirect all that crap. So we found the link, and then we just way backed all of them.
Whoa.
And it was just massive amounts of legal blogs.
So you haven't written a new blog in years?
No, they do not go to our clients. Because if you also know how FineLaw writes blogs,
It's not very good.
They don't write about long-tailed, like informative stuff, like what do we do after a car accident, what do I have to do if I'm arrested. They write about like 2 injured in an accident on Orange Avenue. It's like, who cares? So,
Yeah.
But that's great for other purposes.
So I forgot one other free way.
Just real quick, the moral of the story is find hubs that would have a lot of links to different blogs, and you're going to start hitting gold on different places.
I forgot one other way to get free content, and you will absolutely get free content if you do this. If you have a website, build a page that says guest post with us and just publish it, and put an email like contact like, hey, are you interested in publishing a guest post on our website about blah blah blah. We always take interesting content,
and then never link out to them.
And then you can link out to them. Who cares if you link out to them? As long as it's not a competitor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're gonna get pitches probably once every couple of days if you just have a page that says we accept guest posts.
People like freak out. I mean, I get it for different websites. They're like, "Can I give you $50?" And I'm just
feel like and
no.
be really clear on there. Like, hey, I'll give you 2 do followed links in it and a profile link, like a authorship link at the bottom. It has to be at least 500 words and like pertaining to these topics, and then people will they'll give you content all day. You'll get free content.
I mean,
nonstop.
I get offers for all the time. I mean,
might not be good.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
So, I remember for manage legal websites, and then like bankrate.com is like one of the big ones that does tons of outreach. And they're like, "Oh man, I saw your resource page would be a great addition." And I'm always too rude. I gotta like chill out. Gotta do some karma points back. I'm just like, absolutely not. But I hope that you meet your link building quota and you get a sweet bonus.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. So, Wayback is one of your best friends if you're in SEO. I still donate to them.
Yeah.
Like, I donate to them as much as Wikipedia.
I want them to stay around.
I donate to ASPCA.
I don't know if I've ever
Wikipedia
donated to Wikipedia, but
and I donate to Wayback. Those are the 3, and then like Publix for kids that are sick.
Wikipedia should just be
kids.
like, we're gonna do ads for a week to pay for everything.
Yeah.
Like, this is our ad week, and then like, okay, the rest of the year we don't do ads.
I don't know why they don't do that.
They should, instead of asking everyone for $1.
They should be a casino and porn links too.
Yeah.
They make even more money. So Wayback, imagine just going to websites. Just think, where would a lot of links to blogs and places I would love to get content be? And then you'll get a bunch of content.
So we've covered all the free ways. Now we got to talk about...
Let's talk about cheap ways.
Cheap ways.
Okay.
Number 1, Upwork. So Upwork, if you've never been... It used to be Odesk back in the day. I remember that.
Well,
now it's Upwork.
So if we're going to go to Upwork and we're really talking about consistently paying money, we're not going to have writers in the United States.
Oh, yeah. You can get an article written super cheap. It just depends on the experience level of the writer. But you can set all that. If you're like, hey, I want, 10 400-word articles for $10 an article, you can find that. It'll be readable stuff. Like a human being will write it. They have quality scores of like the people. They have like reviews of like the people that do it. You can set the budget that you want to set. Generally, for like $30, you can get a really good article written for around $30 an article. That's like on the higher end, but you can definitely go real low. $7, $6, $5.
So, 2 things about Upwork since you decided to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done this past, and anyone representing Market My Market here, all in-house content. We're talking about other situations. People in the Philippines are highly educated and will write fantastic content for possibly $5 an hour.
Absolutely.
They are more fluent than half the people in the United States. And
You'd
they
be
sound
amazed.
they sound more American than most people in the
They
United
do.
States. And so Philippines highly recommended for customer service, virtual assistants, like sales. They can do like sales hunting, but we're talking about content. So they rate content. I mean, highly educated, highly motivated, reliable, like
And
fluent as F.
the money that they make from it is pretty good there.
And they're cool with it.
Yeah.
So that's one. I know I singled out that country. There's probably a few others, but I've just had.
So
amazing
this is
experience
also
with it.
like the most legitimate of the ways to pay for it that we're going to talk about, because there's other sites that we're going to cover that you can go to where you're going to get better deals.
But it'll be crappier. So another thing that you can do on Upwork, which is pretty interesting, is you can go to someone in the United States that just started on Upwork.
Yeah.
So someone that has like zero earnings, 0 hours, has a starting rate of like, I don't know, $10, $12, $14 an hour, and go to them and be like, hey, write a bunch of crap for me for like nothing, and I'll give you like great reviews, because you don't have any reviews, you don't have any earnings, you don't have anything. You have to like start somewhere.
Yeah.
So listen, I'll give you a bunch of projects. You'll go from 0 to 5 stars in like a heartbeat, and you'll do it for half. You'll do it for nothing.
Yeah.
Like that's how, some people have to kickstart their profile some way.
Sometimes you got to give away, when you have a restaurant, you got to give away some food.
Like a soft opening.
Yeah, you gotta test out the menu.
No, it's true. I mean, you
this
can
is
go
how
on
it
Upwork,
works.
and this applies to a lot of things. I mean, people, Upwork's been around for a long time. People don't trust people oftentimes with no reviews or anything. They want to start with someone that's already established.
On a website like that, on Upwork, reviews are vitally important.
I know. So you can go to them and be like, hey, listen, I noticed you don't have like any reviews.
I'll give you some if you write me
why don't you do this
5
project?
articles for free.
Just do it for free. No, pay me for my reviews. So just consider that. Upwork is great. We've talked about that a bunch in the past too. So
Yeah.
I think those are 2 good options.
Okay, so we've gone through Upwork, which is great. Now I'm going to give you 2 other sites you can go to get cheap content. And these are like people who are geared towards SEO. If you go to like Upwork, you're going to find people who are actual writers, and they'll write about, you'll have like actual subject matter experts that you can pay there.
That's true too. And then
Yeah.
the one thing, they're not always going to know about SEO.
Yeah, like you might just find someone that like worked in finance for a long time, has articles published in Forbes about finance, like is a legit real source about that subject matter, and you're going to pay like $70 to have them write an article for you. It's going to be a lot of money.
Hell.
Or $100.
$7 million.
Yeah, probably not that.
Okay.
But you're gonna pay like a lot, like a premium for it. But what's cool is like you have the ability to find that, right? The places we're gonna tell you now, you're not gonna have the ability to find that. You're gonna be like, this is started by SEOs, basically for SEOs. Like they know like the niche that they're going after. Right?
Okay, so this is SEOcontent.com, right?
Pretty much. We should just go ahead and start that website after this. I don't know why we haven't.
Dude, content is
we can
just
aggregate
so
the best
wild.
deals and best reviews from all the other websites.
We
and put
don't
it
want
on
to start a content company because the NLG is going to take over pretty
Yeah.
soon, so it doesn't matter.
So, okay. If you go to Black Hat World, this is an oldie but a goldie, all right? It's been around for a long time now, but there's a services section on there. I think this is where like a lot of people get started with like buying services is Black Hat World. That are like the Warrior Forum. But Black Hat World's going to have like all kinds of packages. There's like a whole content section, and basically they outsource stuff to like, a lot of those people are in India, they're in the Philippines.
Are you saying the
they're in
Indians
Thailand.
outsource somewhere else?
Yeah, like
They outsource it
Pakistan.
to America. No, it's just a full circle.
So, but the thing is, you have someone that manage all of it. You're just going to buy a package. You're going to tell them the subject matter and the keywords, and they're going to provide all of it. So the transaction's pretty painless, pretty quick, and honestly, the turnaround time for the places like that is super fast. You just have to be sure that you're running that stuff through some sort of software to make sure that it wasn't like completely ripped off from some other website that's published.
I run anything through
We
Copyscape.
want to be very clear. If with all content, you want to check it for plagiarism, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things. I'm not going to pinpoint and promise you something like absolutely horrible is going to happen. I think the worst thing that happens is you're going to piss off someone, or it's just not going to do anything. Those are typically the main things that happen.
Those things are really, really important to do especially when you're using services on sites like this. So the other one that you can go to is Legit, and I believe it's spelled with 2 I's. Legit.com.
Of course, like Fiverr's with 5 R's.
Fiverr's a place you can go to as well. I wouldn't go to it though for this, just because you can find more specialized things.
It's hard to like kind of filter through what's crap or not, because some people get like 4,000 or 5,000 reviews and you're like, isn't that good? And then you do it and you're like, this is terrible. How did they get so many reviews?
What's great about like these websites is you're going to see reviews from people who are like in the industry, and you can judge like if it's valuable or not. Usually if you have like some pretty crappy service, like you're going to get blasted on those message boards for these, and you're not going to be doing it for super long. So either of those, I mean, you can find packages. You can get like 20 articles for like $40.
Oh, is that what's happening
like
there?
That.
That's pretty sweet.
It just depends. You'll have to look around at whatever offers.
What are you really doing with this content at that point?
I mean, if you want actual content for your site that you don't want to write yourself, if you want blog articles, if you want guest posts, whatever you want.
Some good things about like this content is maybe use them as blogs, and they kind of create the foundation. Then you write like a good intro and a great outro, and it helps you kind of kickstart what you're trying to do. Maybe.
Yeah. So those are both good ways to get content very cheap. So another type of content that we didn't cover yet, but we should talk a little about, is maybe some more creative type of content, right? So images, maybe like infographics, maybe like little animations, things like that.
Oh, how about that?
How about that?
Well, like I said before in the beginning podcast, if you see images you like, go on your competitor's website, grab their images, and put it on your website.
Yeah, they'll never know.
Except the thing about images is you will get sued, whereas with content...
You really will get sued with images. It's amazing.
The different forms of content are interesting, because you just like grab images without knowing where it is, without any attribution. You will get sued, and you will get sued for a lot of money. With content, you will get a cease and desist.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is way less of a big deal.
I've gotten like I managed a forum one time, and someone was posting like links to some other websites, like courses, but you could download them, like illegally download them, and they were like, you have to give me the name, like the contact information and the name of the person, like the poster, and I was like, I don't have to give you any of that. I don't think that's like
the laws under the forums.
I was like, I took it down immediately, because like you can't have copyrighted stuff in there like that. That's like illegal. And I was like, but I don't have to provide you with any information on the poster. Like that's just not how it works unless I'm subpoenaed.
This is the dark web, baby.
Yeah. But so some good sites to go after if you want free images is Pexels. That has nothing but fair use images, all sizes. It has videos that you can use that are fair use. And then what else? Should we tell them the little trick on how to find stuff in Google?
Well, I mean, you can do Google Images, and then you can do by usage rights, and then usage rights say completely any usage.
So that's what I was going to tell them.
Oh, you were going to say that?
Yeah, that's how you find them on Google.
I thought you were going to say like you find an image that you really like, then you save it, then you do a Google image search of it, and then you see like where it came from.
So you just search whatever you're looking for in Google Images, and then you can refine the search. There's tools and it allows you to refine it by the size, the date that it was posted, but also the usage rights. So it's like free to use with attribution, like can't use it, like all that stuff.
And then some that are pretty good, which is actually much broader, and you can't, but depends, it's very limited, is you can use with non-commercial use. So if you're doing it for like a blog that you're not like selling anything or not a business, you're going to probably have access to a lot of images.
Yeah. And then do you have any like infographic resources you want to share?
You can...
They're really not that big anymore like they used to be.
You go on to competitors... No, for images and like some creative things, we use Canva a lot.
Yeah.
Canva is cool. I used to make my own infographics when I worked in-house, because it was my way of
doing something,
using another part of my brain that wasn't just like links, and all that crap. So I used to... What did I use for infographics? And it was actually free, and it was pretty good. That's a question for the audience. What did I use? No, I don't remember. I'd have to think about it. But there are some infographics. I don't know.
They're not like what they used to be.
Well, first of all, they're like, they take a crap ton of time to make a good one. And if you outsource it, you're going to probably pay a couple $100.
But you can also find these on any of those sites that we've given you examples of, guys. So if you want to go to like Fiverr is like a perfectly good one to use for that. And so is Legit, and so is Blackout World or Warrior Forum.
I wouldn't worry about like infographics right now compared to other stuff.
They're not really the thing.
I mean, like 6 years ago, we used to get really excited about them because we're like, they could go viral and we can get a ton of links and all this. But I don't really know if that happens.
So
especially now.
Okay. Well, I feel like we've covered like a lot of
we covered
opportunities for content.
Yeah, and if we keep talking about it, this is going to be premium content. You're going to have to freaking go on our Patreon.
To pay for this content.
Yeah,
so, if you guys have any listeners out there actually have some ideas and stuff that we didn't cover, feel free to like send us an email or hit us up on Facebook or YouTube.
I want to say something. We're starting to get more emails. The community is actually open up, coming out and emailing us. So if you're listening to this and you listen to us pretty often, freaking email us by now. Or is that all they do? They send contact or they call you or they text you?
They don't ever text me because I've never given them my phone number.
Well, not until
so. Yeah, but we really love hearing from our listeners out there, and
it's actually really exciting for us. It makes us want to do it more often, obviously.
Yeah. So hit us up at seoisdeadandotherlies@gmail.com, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is just these podcasts when they come out, or subscribe to our actual podcasts.
And I am working on the SEOisdeadcast.com.
Yeah, so that's coming soon. We're going to have an actual website with all these posted and
it has a sweet podcast template I bought off at Theme Forest on it right now.
Love it.
And I'm just modifying it to have more of our stuff. But that's where we'll probably have additional bonus content.
And if you like what you hear, be sure to give us a positive review on one of those. And if you don't like what you hear, give us a positive review anyways. And eventually, if we get enough, we can like make money from this, and then we can make what you do want to hear.
And then we give the money to you if you're listening. And then also, if you have a blog, and if you eventually grab content, you make your own blog with the content we told you about, feel free to put a hyperlink with the anchor text of SEO podcast and link it to SEO's Deadcast.
Here's really what I want is just us to be in a top 10 list for SEO podcasts.
We love lists, and then everyone should know that top 10 lists are still pretty cool.
If you're listening out there and you have the ability to put us in a top 10 list, we would love it.
BuzzFeed, thank you for top 10 lists.
We also make no money off this podcast, just so everyone knows. Yeah,
no, I lose money because we just did dilly-dally for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which we can have done SEO.
But also, I pay for the hosting.
Okay, we're rambling.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate all you. And, we look forward to our next episode.
Absolutely. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
Bye. Bye.